Humans, by a very biological nature, love to generalize. Well, generally. However, with globalization, and with it the introduction and assimilation of new, different paradigms into our society, we've become so guarded against generalizing that we've actually pointed ourselves in a similarly misguided direction. To give a short anecdote, on Facebook, one of my more political friends posted a short message earlier in the year lamenting how our society labels terrorists and heroes, and how it's impossible to generalize large groups of people and come out well. Well, yes, but no, it's not so simple. While generalization can often be destructive and lead to awful things like racial and sexual prejudice, it's also one of our most useful faculties as human beings. Think about the sheer overload of information we receive every day. The stock market rising and falling, scientific theories, social cues. If we didn't generalize to some degree, we'd be absolutely lost. But that's a little abstract to respond to such a question. Let's get a bit more specific. Let's imagine a situation of war between two countries. The war is bloody and crippling to both people. As we know, people are very diverse, and their reasons for supporting the war will vary immensely. However, in general, the reason both sides fight is because of a territorial dispute between the countries. Some, however, may enlist because their fathers were killed in the same war, or others may just be sadistic. It's much more helpful, however, to look at the common reason for fighting, because then action can be taken towards resolving that reason, in this case, fairly reshaping the borders of each country. This is an example of helpful generalization of a people. While, technically, it's just as inaccurate as racism, it results in a net positive effect. Of course, we should consider the diversity of motivations in any particular cause, up to a point, but a common goal should be established to make general happiness achievable. Indeed, one of the most popular moral and political theories of all time is utilitarianism, which compels us to make decisions that ensures the most happiness for the most people. I won't go through the pros and cons of this philosophy, but regardless, it's important to appreciate the worth of generalization, yes, even in socio-political decisions. To give another example, feminism is a movement we associate with those who want gender equality. Although, there are people in that group that are literally calling for the culling of men to achieve true equality. We don't focus on these people and reject feminism, but instead, we generalize the goals of feminism into the reasonable ones most people support: equality for both genders. Now, we do have to be careful here, because we're getting very close to the concept of majority rules, which has been responsible for prejudice and other very, very bad decisions. That's why, established in most modern governments' constitutions, there are a set of liberties extended to all citizens. The right to life free from persecution, the right to fresh water, the right to freedom of speech, etc., etc. That way, whatever decision we generalize a population wants can only be applicable if it doesn't involve infringing on those liberties. But I digress. So, perhaps instead of saying never generalize, we should say never generalize, especially about generalizing. While generalizing can lead to prejudice, cruelty, and disaster, it can also keep us sane, and the Tumblr feminists from killing 80% of the men on this earth.